All right, everybody, this is Sheets, and I'm going to be going over the MMA card for this weekend. And boy, we were right on it last weekend, and then Tom Breeze got scratched. A little annoying. But that's okay. We're moving on to this week, and I'll tell you, this week is an amazing, amazing card from a DFS perspective. And I don't want you to confuse that with it being an easy card. It's amazing in that there's 200,000 for first in this big $25 tournament, and it's very likely somebody takes it down on their own. There's a lot of different ways you can go, a lot of combinations that make sense, and a lot of upside in some underdogs. It really is a great card. I hope it kind of stays together, and it's got 3 main events, 5 minutes each, and you don't have to play them all. I really like this card a lot, and I'm going to try to break it down for you the best I can. I'm probably going to play more lineups than normal just because, you know, I just feel there's a lot of ways this could go. I also feel as though it's possible to leave money on the table and have that end up being a winning thing. What I think the theme of this card is going to be is to really just not waste any combinations on not speculative stuff, but on kind of boring fights that you might want to, you know, take a shot on other slates. I guess that would be the theme of this, is the not on this slate, because there are some fighters and some fights that you can make a case for on other slates, but just not going to be this one. So how do I want to do this? I'm going to go back and forth between, this is the DraftKings build. This is actually the projection sheet that I put up on TrueDFS.com, which I think is pretty good. You know, it lists the salary. It does. I'll put my projections up literally against anybody's, but you know, just because I'm garnering from so many different sources, and my own value score that I put on these guys and the ownerships. So if you want to use this in any way that you see fit, that's great. So let's talk about a couple of things. How do I want to do this? All right. First thing I want to talk about the live underdogs, just kind of as a pool. Okay. Well, let's just start with this. First fight of the night, Felipe Collier. It's a terrible inside the distance prop. It's going to be a boring fight, I believe. And if this were another slate where you need to take a shot, I would do it, but I'm not playing anybody from there. So this first one, Vandermeeny is an extremely live dog. He is, you know, he's got a lot of upside. He can take people down. He's got, you know, good volume. He's aggressive, lots of finish, good finish rate, decent inside the distance, all that good stuff. He's an extremely live underdog at 7,900, so he's certainly going to be in my pool. And then you have this guy, Chase Hooper, who has a great combination of 2 things. Number one, he gets most of his wins by finish. He doesn't really box too well. He doesn't fight too well, but he has these sneaky little submission moves that he pulls out of his butt, you know what I mean, from time to time, or almost all the time. And that even though Peterson can kind of back him down or whatever, Hooper's just never out of it. He was getting beat by a guy that was pretty bad last time he fought, and he pulled that out of his butt too. And the thing is, he's 7,800, and if you look at his money line, he is he's almost a favorite, right? He's minus 106, or he's almost pick 'em, and he's being priced as if he's probably like a 130 dog. So there's win equity, there's finish upside. This is like a pretty much of a classic GPP type play, and it's an extremely live underdog. So that's another part of the underdog pool. Let me go up to another couple of good underdogs in here. So let's talk for a second. Well, you know what? Let's do it this way. We'll come back to Frivola and all these other guys in a minute. Other good live underdogs. Are we going to consider the Calderwood-Murphy fight one of the underdog plays? Yeah, maybe, because this is going to be probably a high-volume fight, and it's going to rate to score well. So if you consider 8K and 8,200 underdogs, I think both of these girls are in play. So she's in play. Then you have the Anders Stewart. I don't like that underdog, but you have in the 2 of the main events, you have I think extremely live underdogs. You have Brendan Moreno at 7,100. It's going to be a really high volume fight. He fought Figueiredo to a draw last time. So, you know, why not? I mean, it's going to go 5 rounds, and he's really tough, and he just bangs away. And, you know, Figueiredo's got a lot of power and could certainly, you know, knock him out. But Moreno's extremely live at 7,100. And then in the main event, you got Vettori, who's, you know, who's at 6,900, certainly is live. You know, what's his name? Adesanya is the better striker. He's more technical. He's probably better overall, but Vettori is really tough. He's been, you know, on a roll. He's been doing well. He's getting better since his last fight with Adesanya, where he, you know, he hung in there. I mean, he you know, lost 2-1, I think, or something like that. And he also has some grappling upside, also Vettori. And Adesanya, he got kind of bullied around in his last fight. Now, again, it was against somebody that was much heavier than Vettori in Blachowicz, but still, I think Vettori is very live also. So you have 5 dogs here. I'm considering Murphy and Calderwood kind of one person that are extremely live on this card. I mean, I'm probably going to have like 2 or 3 of these guys in every one of my lineups. And it's a matter of how you combine them and how you pair them. But all 5 of these guys, I believe, are in play, right? So that's the first thing. Second thing is there is a very high equity play here, and that would be Frivola. So Frivola, he was supposed to fight Frank Camacho, who got into a car accident, and was priced as if he would be like about a 2.5 to 1 underdog, but he was replaced by Terrence McKinney. Actually, this is not that bad. So it's still 250. I'm sorry. So it's not that big of an equity play. It's pretty good, but it's not, you know, like a lock like we had what's your name last week with Fiorello last week. I mean, that was a stone lock. Mathematically, it doesn't always work out that way, but mathematically it was a stone lock. So Frivola actually is priced somewhat fairly, I suppose. So maybe Frivola isn't as good of a play as I thought. So let's not create that as kind of a lock play. Then I want to just go over the fights that I really just want to fade completely, and then go into kind of like the good-looking favorites. So as I said, Felipe Collier, nope. Bad inside the distance prop, just bad volume, not for me. Kianzad Davis, same thing. I'm going to have 0 of these. And that's one of the ways that you could be, I don't say different, is to just not just sprinkle for the sake of sprinkling. Take a stand against some of these fighters and go 0. It gets you more combination of those live underdogs, for example. Eveliv Dawadu. So this is one where, again, on a different slate, I might take a shot at Evelev, because even though it's got a low inside the distance prop or a bad inside the distance prop, he does have a lot of wrestling. So it's possible that he, that he could get some takedowns and get points that way. But I just feel as though that you're going to need like 100 from the 9,200 guys. I just don't know if that's in the cards. Evelev would be the guy I would say was like on the outside looking in with respect to my player pool, if that makes any sense. So Stuart Anders, I think Anders is the only fighter on this fight I'm going to take. It's his inside the distance prop that's keeping this fight low as far as inside the distance. Stuart, not as much. I will say that on another slate, Stewart could be one of those live dogs, but for me, Stewart is not even remotely close to those others that I mentioned. So he's just not going to make it for me. So Anders is certainly in play at 8,600. Dober Riddell, another one, not on this slate. Okay, you can make a case for this on other like slates without not a lot of options, but not today. So Muhammad Maya, another one. I could make a case for Maya, for example, on like another slate, but not going to be today. And Muhammad, no shot. Bad inside the distance prop, too many decisions on his card, and he's 9K. Jamal Hill. So it's going to be him. So here are the 3 good-looking favorites. So there's Jamal Hill, just significant first-round KO upside. You have Edwards, who's not exactly the KO upside, but he's in a first-round KO upside, but he's in a 5-round fight who's going to just put as much volume on Diaz as Diaz can take. So he, I think, is also really live for 100 plus. As a matter of fact, if you look at my projections here, he does rate to be the highest projected fighter on the slate. So, and he does rate to have a really good value score. So his ownership is going to reflect that. But remember, he's not going to win because of the first round KO upside. It's going to be more of the, just overall volume, just incredible win odds, So I like that. And then in these two main events, I have to say that I just don't think I'm going to be getting to Adesanya. We'll get back to that. Figueiredo, I think, is actually a better play than Adesanya because, I just feel as though Figueiredo's got just more KO upside, and not only that, but he's going to be in a fight that's probably going to produce more volume than the Adesanya fight's going to produce, So I feel as though Figueiredo would be a better favorite over Adesanya. So if anything, I have to say that the amount of lineups I'm going to build, I don't really know if I'm going to get to any of them, Adesanya, because I think that what's going to end up happening is going to need as many combinations of those live dogs as possible. So I think I'm just going to probably end up taking a chance that that one of Figueiredo or two of three, or Figueiredo, and Edwards and Hill just outscore Adesanya. Okay. Maybe that's a little bit stupid. Maybe I will get a little bit of Adesanya. I mean, he does have that 5-round floor, but just don't think the floor is going to be relevant this week. I just think you're going to need well over 100 in this fight. And I think someone like Figueiredo can get it. I think that Edwards is probably going to get it. It's weird, on the one hand, I think Moreno's an extremely live dog at 7,100. Yet I do have this feeling that Figueiredo is the best play of these 9Ks. Hill, I would say, is the most likely probably to get that first round KO. But again, you have that 5-round upside from someone like Figueiredo that if he doesn't get the first round KO, he could grind out 130 points without KOing him. So I think overall, even though my projections have Edwards and Adesanya highest projected, I think that Figueiredo might have the most upside. That would be my adjustment to the projections, I guess. So that's pretty much it. I can summarize, or you can just rewind and just re-listen to everything that I said. But I think it's a really, really great card. I think those long shots that I mentioned are all very much in play. And I think that you need to go 0 on those other fights. That's the only way you're going to get the combinations you need out of those live fighters. That's it. Good luck, and let's get it.